snowfall slams western Washington. More than a foot in some places is making for a late December winter wonderland.
They're awesome. Yeah. I don't have to be at work, so it's not bad.
We're tracking the impact on our roads, waterways, and in the skies as holiday travel gets underway.
Safety's got to come first.
Some holiday travel is getting delayed or canceled at SeaTac Airport.
Because we can only de-ice so many airplanes at a time based upon the space here, that drives the cancellation rate.
Alaska Airlines takes us to the tarmac as it battles the snow and cold to get passengers home.
I want to help stop this guy.
Women attacked in Seattle shared their stories tonight.
The more people who speak up, the better, the more likely it is that he gets caught.
They walk us through what happened in Coleman Park. King 5 News at 5 starts right now.
First alert, snow hits the mountains and lowlands around western Washington. We are tracking more than a foot of snow in some areas. This here is new video out of Seattle's South Lake Union neighborhood this morning.
To the north, this is what shoreline looked like this morning. As you can see, the snow made for some messy driving conditions.
The same story to the east of Lake Washington over in Kirkland. Snow falling here, completely covering a backyard. I want to get right to our first alert forecast tonight. I'm Steve Solis.
I'm Joyce Taylor, and Leah Pizzetti's here with more on hopefully some good news with the advisories, right?
Right, yeah. So we've been seeing them slowly expire as the day progresses, but we're not quite out of the clear. And even as we stop seeing snow actively falling, that does not mean we're out of the dangerous territory. We do still have the potential for any moisture that's fallen to refreeze and create those icy roads. So do not think clear sky means safe conditions. However, we are trending toward clear skies. We see a couple live looks towards Snoqualmie Pass, Stevens Pass. These are going to be the problem spots as we head into the next few hours. These are going to be the areas where we still continue to see snow falling overnight. A loop of shoreline. It's beautiful out there. We saw some kids sledding down that little hill earlier today. So most of what we're seeing at the lowlands has wrapped up. We had some advisories, some winter weather advisories and alerts across Puget Sound. Those have now expired, and we're starting to see these alerts slowly fizzle out. One that is still in place, though, is this winter storm warning. So really, like I said, the passes are the concern as we head into tonight. The Olympics, the Cascades, this is going to expire at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that overnight window is going to be the worst of it. Could still see another few inches falling at the passes, maybe up to about 6 inches in these overnight hours. And like I said, we're on the tail end of this storm, but we have these freezing temperatures and yet another storm heading our way that I'm continuing to track into the holiday weekend. I'll show you all that coming up in your first alert forecast.
Leah, thank you. Despite the weather advisories expiring in the lowlands, travel is still messy tonight. We're tracking travel delays in the sky, on the water, and along roadways right now. We want to start at SeaTac, where the airport is reporting about 200 cancellations due to snowfall. Another 330 flights are delayed. We're going to get a closer look at how one airline is working to keep its planes clear for flight. Coming up in about 5 minutes, a live report from SeaTac is coming up.
And now to our waterways, the Washington State Ferry route from Anacortes to the San Juans. It is falling behind after the Chelan dropped out of service due to a lack of crew. That is canceling more than half a dozen sailings. So if you had a reservation today, the ferry system says you will not be penalized with a no-show fee.
On the roads, traffic is slowed along I-5 in parts as we do hit the peak of rush hour. King County Metro has shifted its buses to snow routes because of messy conditions. If you do plan to use a bus to get home tonight or get anywhere tonight, Metro says you can sign up for transit alerts to get the latest information sent right to your phone.
So while traffic in the lowlands is still moving, the passes, they're proving to be pretty dangerous right now. Snoqualmie Pass this hour, it is closed in both directions. WashDOT telling us that crews are responding to multiple spinouts.
A live look at traffic conditions over the pass. You can see that purple spot there along I-90. That's where those lanes are closed. Stephen Pass also closed from Scenic to the Summit right now, and there's no word yet on when the passes will reopen. We do have crews tracking the impact of all this snow. We're going to check in with King 5's Eric Rizzuto in 2 minutes. But first, team coverage begins with King 5's Eric Wilkinson in Mount Vernon. Eric.
Yeah, even though the temperatures have been dropping, the conditions here have actually been improving, but not before hours of some very difficult driving. Ron Kesty has been on the road long before most of us woke up this morning, 4:30 a.m., trying to keep the roads of Skagit County safe for everyone.
It's terrible. Yeah, People need to slow down.
Ron is one of about 8 plow drivers in his district working 12-hour shifts or longer lately. He's hauling his third 8-ton load of sand, covering 100 miles himself alone today.
Yeah, snow plowing is my least favorite time of year, but it's part of the job.
About 9 inches of snow came down in Mount Vernon, burying sidewalks and driveways, but still a welcome snow day for Walter Coburn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have to be at work, so it's not bad.
But for the rest of us, it was rough. The drive north from Snohomish County went through whiteout conditions at times, at speeds not much faster than 40 miles an hour. This crash on I-5 at the Boeing Freeway blocked 3 lanes of traffic. In fact, it was tough to even decipher any lanes on I-5. Several spinouts and accidents made the morning commute intense. The state DOT tells us statewide there has been so much snow, plows are primarily being used for sanding because de-icer is no longer effective. So far, there haven't been too many reports of trees down or power out, but this family had to use a stepladder to keep a big chunk of tree from falling in their yard.
People need to slow down.
For Ron, the miles, hours, and snow keep piling up. The work of a county plow driver tireless and too often thankless.
Let's be patient. There's only so many of us.
Ron reminds us that even if a road has been plowed and it looks safe, right now there's a very, very good chance that the street is still covered by a thick sheet of ice, so be careful out there. Now let's travel across the sound to Erica Zucco. She is in Silverdale tonight. How you doing, Erica?
Great, thanks, Eric. And in fact, the crews here have also been really busy trying to keep roads clear. And for the most part, most major streets have been okay, though tonight there are still some local closures, which Kitsap County is tracking. There were also a couple school districts that weren't out for break yet that canceled today, and some other closures as well. But for the most part, we saw people enjoying the snow across the region.
Riker. Be careful, Riker.
In Kitsap County, kids were plenty prepared for this snow.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Okay, fast.
Mitchell Draper
You asked for it.
was ready for the roads.
I'm prepared with a Subaru and everything else. I grew up in the woods. This is what it's about. All right, get back at it.
He says years here have trained him for this kind of storm, with some winters snowier than others.
Everybody knows about the snowmageddon that happened. This one's getting there. It's pretty close.
This season's La Nina effect could add to snowfall totals. Driving from city to city revealed a range of snow amounts across the peninsula. The National Weather Service notes reports that neared an inch in Bremerton and much higher amounts in places like Pollsbo and Seabeck. Digging out may be an uphill climb for some,
But this one's looks like it's gonna stick around. We got a few more days coming.
but many look to be enjoying the weather just fine. And the snow has let up, just a small amount coming down right now, just really tiny flakes. But the concern tonight will continue to be the road conditions as well as the cold. Kitsap County says that it does have overnight shelters activated for anyone who needs them. Live in Kitsap County, Erica Zucco, King 5 News.
Okay, so this system is moving out of the lowlands, but cold temperatures are still going to make travel dangerous for the next few days. As crews work to clear the roads, make sure you download our King 5 app. That way we can send weather and traffic updates right to your phone. Just text the word app to 206-448-4545 for a link to download it.
Let's return now to the latest at SeaTac Airport. We're in the middle of the holiday travel season, and the snow is causing some issues on the tarmac.
So at this point, about 200 flights, as you said, have been canceled, another 330 delayed. So to narrow it down, more than 220 Alaska Airlines flights have been impacted so far tonight. Right now, Alaska says it's trying to keep its planes de-iced and ready for flight. King 5's Kristen Goodwillie joining us live from SeaTac. Kristen, what's the latest from there as they're trying to keep those planes moving?
Well, it is stressful when you have to deal with flight cancellations, and something many don't know is that that responsibility falls on the airlines to make that decision. And today, Alaska Airlines had many cancellations. They told me that it comes down to several factors.
The airport is packed, families excited to reunite. Outside, there's even snow falling. But with that snow and ice comes cancellations and delays.
We want to make sure that we are providing guests with as much advance notice as possible. And so if we cancel closer in, they're at the airport already.
This is the leading edge of Cowell, and of course we want to make sure this is clear of ice.
Alaska Airlines says de-icing is the main reason for the canceled flight.
There are different levels to de-icing a plane, and a plane will not take off if there's ice accumulation. Here at SeaTac, this is one of 8 de-icing pads, and Alaska Airlines says many of the cancellations we're seeing today are because of the additional time it takes to de-ice a plane, as well as limited space here at the airport.
And it just takes time. We want to make sure that we take the time that we need to de-ice our aircraft and make sure they're safe to fly.
Over to the north end of the airport in the cargo area.
We're excited to see snow. We're ready.
SeaTac Airport's field crew has been working 12-hour shifts since Saturday on standby. Today,
you know, the minute they get to see action, it's like they're excited and ready to go.
Was their time to shine. The goal is to clear the runway in 30 minutes. SeaTac maintaining the ground while airlines take care of the planes.
Everyone here at Alaska Airlines is committed to get our passengers where they want to go. There's no doubt, including all the pilots. However, safety's got to come first.
Now, Alaska Airlines plans to be back on schedule tomorrow. They tell me that they have rebooked about 70% of travelers and are already looking forward towards Thursday and Friday's potential weather. Live here at SeaTac, I'm Kristen Goodwillie, King 5 News.
And if you are flying this week, a reminder about SeaTac's Spot Saver program. It lets you schedule TSA screenings in advance, then jump to the front of the line. You can book online at the Port of Seattle's website. Our First Alert Weather Day continues. It's still in effect across western Washington tonight.
Our news weather departments are tracking conditions up to the minute. Your full First Alert forecast is next.
Also ahead, 2 brothers have pleaded guilty in the death of their cousin in Mason County today. They learned how long they're going to spend behind bars.
Plus, an earthquake rocks Northern California. A closer look at the damage after that quake struck the coast. We've gotten so many videos and photos from you of all the snow falling in your area. This one is from Catherine in West Seattle, and we would like to see the snow in your backyard. Send us your photos or pictures to 206-448-4545. King 5 News at 5 returns in 2 minutes.
This is a First Alert Weather Day here at King 5. Many of the weather advisories in the lowlands have expired, but that system left behind more than a foot of snow in some places.
As you can imagine, that snow is making it for dangerous travel conditions. This here is new video out of Edmonds of snowfall there and the impact it has had on the roads. Your full First Alert forecast is just 3 minutes away.
Other news now, a Seattle woman says a man assaulted her while she was running near Coleman Park on Saturday. In the days since, she has been sharing what happened with the police and with the public.
King 5's Natalie Swaby joins us live with more about a case that is gaining attention in the running community. Natalie.
Yeah, that's right. The running community and beyond. It's been discussed on social media sites, and today the runner is sharing details, some of them graphic, to make others aware of what happened here.
Coleman Park is usually a peaceful place, according to Tricia, who asked that we do not use her last name or show her face because of what happened on Saturday afternoon.
It certainly is violating.
Tricia, an avid runner, says she had made it up a path from the parking lot when she heard footsteps.
Instead of somebody running by me, my butt was grabbed, and then his finger went further. He was parked like here and came up this way, and then he assaulted me basically right in front of this house. He took off pretty fast, and I took off pretty fast behind him. Meanwhile, the entire time I'm like screaming like help, you know, somebody call 911, like running with my arms in the air.
She says a woman heard her and called for help just as the man jumped into a vehicle and took off.
I was like, well, I have all the information I can possibly have about his description and the description of his car and the license plate number, and that's why I'm speaking up and getting the word out and spreading it as much as I possibly can.
She says spreading the word has already led to information about another incident, one that happened back in April, more than 2 miles away from Coleman Park, here near East Marion Street and 17th Avenue. This is where a woman says she was assaulted and was able to capture video as the man drove away.
The woman shared this, and the vehicle in the video matches the description Tricia took down.
It's a white Lexus SUV.
As police investigate, this runner does not want one person to ruin a place like this.
I need to go run where I was and where that happened, because that can't become a bad place, because running along the lake is a great place to train.
Now, Seattle police say since April there have been 3 reported incidents, and in each of the cases it happened between the hours of noon and 3 p.m. and the suspect got away in a white Lexus. Police ask if anyone has more information about these cases or similar incidents to call Seattle Police. Reporting live, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
A live look now at our first alert radar. The system that dropped more than a foot of snow in some places around western Washington is starting to move on.
Want to bring in meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. Leah, the problem is going to be the cold temps are going to really impact what was left behind by that storm.
Exactly. Yeah. So just because our skies are calming down does not mean our roadways are safe necessarily. We do still have that potential for what has fallen to refreeze overnight. So we could still see icy roadways, and we do still have the potential for some snow to fall really just for the passes as we head into tonight. Most of the lowlands should be clear, but we can see Stevens Pass. Look at that. That is covered in snow. So do not travel tonight if you do not have to. I think tomorrow will be better, but even then, like I said, we could still see icy roadways. We're in for really a sticky week. Everett right now, live look outside. You can also see from Payne Field a little bit of snow there on the runway. I think what has fallen now should be the bulk of it. And we did see a pretty wide variety of snow totals, anywhere from a dusting 1 inch to upwards of a foot in some areas. Port Angeles reporting just about a foot of snow. And this is a loop of the last 12 hours for us. We can see this system really pulled in. And as you can see, that green, that's rain, that favored mostly the south. And then it was up to the north, snow, which is exactly what we expected. That rain snow line was a little bit tricky, though. It moved throughout the day. So at some points of the day, if you were in or around Seattle or Puget Sound, you may have seen rain, you may have seen snow, but pausing at what we're seeing right now, mostly we've calmed down. We could still see a little bit more activity into tonight, like I said, for the mountains though. So this has prompted a winter storm warning to continue. This is really for the passes, the Olympics, the Cascades. This is going to end at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So into tonight, tomorrow morning is still going to be that problem spot. We also have a winter storm watch that has been issued. This kicks in Thursday morning and continues until Friday morning. This is down for really the south coast, and it's for later on this week. This is for the next system that arrives. It's not here yet, but we are already tracking. Our eyes are on the next winter system that is heading our way. So we can see into tonight, maybe some spotty snow falling over our mountains. Couple inches are possible for the passes into tonight. By tomorrow morning, we should be mostly clear. It'll be calming down. We're going to take a little bit of a deep breath, but then look at this. By Thursday evening, another storm arrives into Friday morning. It's looking messy, and it is same thing, looking like a little bit of a rain snow mix. So Thursday night, Friday morning are going to be the next really sticky territory. Temperatures, though, like we just said, this is going to continue to be a concern because anything that's already fallen could still potentially refreeze because of just how cold these temperatures are. These are our current temperatures. We're below freezing for most of western Washington right now. And as we head into our overnight lows, look at this, well below freezing for many areas. Bellingham, Arlington in those single digits, teens into the low 20s. It is going to be cold once again tonight. So even though we don't have that active snow falling, it could still freeze and we could still see those slick roadways. Highs for tomorrow, below freezing once again. So it is going to continue to be cold these next couple of days. However, relief is on the way. We're going to see temperatures warming back up as we head into the Christmas holiday. So like I said, tomorrow is going to be cold, highs staying below freezing. I think that'll stick around into Thursday. That next system arrives, and then just in time for the Christmas holiday, we will see temperatures warm back up. That's much closer to average for this time of year. Highs in the 40s compared to the 20s. So you will definitely feel that temperature increase. And with that temperature increase, that's going to help transition us away from snow and much closer to rain.
So something else we're keeping a close eye on over the holidays, both CVS and Walgreens are now limiting the amount of children's cold and flu meds that you can buy.
So this comes as the country is battling what some health officials are calling a triple-demic. Gabe Gutierrez bringing us the latest on record demand for medicine and what parents can do.
Growing concern in the cold and flu aisle. Pharmacy shelves often stripped bare of the medications that sick kids need the most. As respiratory illnesses in children keep spiking, sales of children's pain and fever medications have more than doubled from last year. To make sure more people have access, CVS is now restricting purchases of children's pain relief products to just 2 at a time, both online and in person. Walgreens imposing a purchase limit of 6 for pediatric fever meds, blaming increased demand and supplier challenges. The limit only applies to online purchases, not in store. While the FDA tells us it's not seeing widespread shortages of these products, Johnson & Johnson, the maker of children's Tylenol and Motrin, says it's working to maximize production capacity. But some in Congress say more needs to be done. With 2 sick kids at home, Mom Natalie LeClaire says she's had to pay her pharmacist extra to compound a special dose of children's ibuprofen.
The bottle cost $30, which was a lot of money compared to how much a bottle is usually, which is around $13. So I did that in the interim, but it's not a sustainable thing for us.
Doctors say if your kid's usual cold and flu meds are sold out, consider buying generic store brands. They're just as effective. You may be able to give older children adult versions of certain medications, but definitely check with your pharmacist first. And if your child has a fever, medication may only be necessary if they are experiencing pain or discomfort. Otherwise, use home remedies like cold drinks, popsicles, and a cool towel to the forehead. They can all help bring the temperature down.
I tell parents, don't freak out about the actual fever. If the kid's doing well, there's no reason to give them medication.
An earthquake rocks Northern California. Next on King 5, officials reveal whether the state's early warning system actually worked.
We are still following dangerous travel conditions stretching internationally. This is new video out of Vancouver, BC. How the snow may impact your holiday travel coming up at 5:30. King 5 News returns in just 2 minutes. Some breaking news now. If you're on the east side, this may impact you if you're going to head into Seattle. All westbound lanes of State Route 520 shut down right now in 92nd Avenue in the Clyde Hill Medina area because of heavy ice. WashDOT tells us several cars have spun out in the area. Again, that bridge crossing into Seattle currently closed, but you can still access some of those exits before you get to the lake. Crews are working on treating the road right now. They're going to open it as soon as it is safe to do so. But again, westbound lanes 520 currently closed and 92nd Avenue, but the off-ramp to 92nd Avenue remains open.
Woke me up violently, jumped out of bed, and just heard this roaring. My phone started going off saying there was an earthquake, and stuff was flying off the shelves.
At least 2 people are hurt. Thousands are without power in Northern California. A 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck Humboldt County this morning near the Redwood Coast. We know that more than 3 dozen smaller earthquakes struck after that.
And one of those as powerful as a 4.6. The quake was powerful enough to damage roads and bridges in the area. This here is new video out of Fernbridge, right on the state's west coast. The same story with many area homes and businesses. You can see the damage to the strip of stores that are here. The impact of the quake really could have been much worse. State officials say the state's early warning system did what it was supposed to do.
The earthquake early warning system, which is the new system that we have, was able to actually push out alerts 10 seconds in advance of the earthquake shaking to some 3 million people in Northern California. And
Washington State put in a similar earthquake early warning system in May of last year. It's expected to provide several valuable seconds of warning to take cover before the shaking begins.
Giving families a special way to remember loved ones, one ball of yarn at a time. Next on King 5, the Seattle woman making it her mission to finish art pieces left incomplete by family members who have passed away.
Also, snow and cold temperatures are making for dangerous travel conditions all across western Washington. Look right now at some new photos. This is a crash out of Bellevue.
It's even worse when our passes. A live look at Snoqualmie Pass right here, which is closed in both directions right now due to spinouts. Another look at your first alert forecast is about 3 minutes away. King 5 News will be right back.
This one's looks like it's gonna stick around. We got a few more days coming.
Snowfall slamming into western Washington. This is new video out of Kitsap County. You can even see those icicles hanging off the front of a boat.
So we caught some big flakes falling in the heart of Seattle this morning. This here's video out of South Lake Union of those flakes right near Mercer Street.
It is the same story just outside of T-Mobile Park. Some of that snow even stuck around for a little bit this morning.
We want to get right to first alert forecast with meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. So Leah, activity mostly over in the lowlands. The mountains, though, another story.
Right. Mountains are going to continue to see some snow potential into tonight, but it's exactly like what we just said. That key word there is sticking. Like that gentleman just said, like you both just said, we could still see this snow stick around because of how cold it's going to be. I don't expect it to melt very quickly, and also that could cause the potential for icy roadways. So Snoqualmie Pass, Stevens Pass, as we just said, closed, and there are issues there. So a good reminder, just don't go anywhere tonight if you can. Wait until tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be your sweet spot for travel, maybe into Thursday morning as well. Satellite and radar showing the remnants of this system. This is the last few hours. We see a little bit of moisture down to the south, but for the most part, we have cleared as far as active snowfall and rainfall is concerned. We do still have a few watches and warnings in place for Western Washington. Earlier today, we were blanketed with advisories, but many of those have expired. We do still have one that I'm continuing to track right now. A winter storm warning is in place. So this is for the passes. Like I said, that's our problem spot for tonight. This is going to end at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. We could still see a little bit of snowfall over the passes tonight, but as we progress into tomorrow morning, that's going to fizzle out. Next couple of days, we're going to stay clear. I'm not expecting any new accumulations, but we do have another storm on the way. I'll time all of that out for you coming up in your full first alert forecast.
So the snow hitting Western Washington is not the only batch that you could run into if you're going to be traveling for the holidays.
Right now, SeaTac Airport is reporting about 200 cancellations due to snowfall. Another 330 flights are delayed right now. Snowfall is going to impact travelers nationwide and also into Canada. This here is new video out of the airport up in Vancouver, BC. In total, millions could be impacted by snow, rain, and frigid temps.
Maggie Vespa has the latest on holiday travel and what airline passengers need to know.
Please keep all boarding passes out.
With a holiday travel surge underway and crowds already flooding one of America's busiest airports, a potential wrench looms on the horizon. A major winter storm with a bitterly cold Arctic blast is set to slam the Great Plains through the Northeast later this week. Both United and American Airlines already waiving rebooking fees for those flying through Midwest airports, and United also letting passengers postpone their trip and dodge the storm. During this travel surge, 2 unrelated incidents of flight turbulence prompting concern. 5 people were hospitalized Monday after a United flight from Rio de Janeiro to Houston hit unexpected turbulence. This after some 36 were hurt on a Hawaii-bound flight Sunday, also amid extreme turbulence. All this amid a holiday travel boom. AAA estimates 113 million Americans are traveling to see loved ones for the holidays. 11-year-old Lillian Charles is worried.
The weather can mess up like all of your flights.
Weather can ruin it.
Yeah.
And with nearly 102 million Americans hitting the roads this week, warnings are mounting. The good news, thanks to remote work, travelers this year are flexible. Peak travel days are spread out throughout the next couple weeks. Experts add airlines are staffed up, more often preemptively canceling flights ahead of likely snags.
We're very optimistic. We know that if there are disruptions due to the storm, those passengers will be reaccommodated.
So one good thing for those who are going to get behind the wheel to travel, gas prices, they are dropping right now. AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular is now $3.14. That is down 54 cents from last month and a low not seen since July of 2021. Now here in Washington State, it's a different story. We're paying an average of about $3.12 at the pump. A big difference from a month ago when we were paying $3.67.
As crews are working to keep the roads safe for drivers, do make sure you download our King 5 app. That way we can send weather and traffic updates right to your phone. Text the word app to 206-448-4545 for that link to download it.
2 brothers were sentenced today in Mason County for their roles in the death of 29-year-old Derek Wiley back in 2020.
King 5's Lionel Donovan is at the courthouse in Shelton with more on that and reaction from Wiley's family tonight. Lionel.
Good evening, Joyce. Well, both Jordan and Jarreau received multiple years in prison today. Jarreau, who pleaded guilty to the murder, received a 20-year sentence, and his older brother Jordan received 5 years for criminal assistance. Neither of them are allowed to speak to Derek Wiley's family. Now, Wiley's foster mother was in the courthouse to hear the sentence, and she says that this gives her and her family a chance to heal. 757 days. That's how long Malin Foster has been waiting for justice for her son, Derek Wiley. Today, that wait ended. Members of the Squaxin Island tribe joined Foster in a prayer circle in front of the Mason County Courthouse ahead of the sentencing hearing for Jordan and Jarreau Offo. Both pleaded guilty to killing and dismembering Wiley back in November of 2020. Tribe members took a moment to remember one of their own before the hearing and mourn the victim.
We have a responsibility as Indigenous people to continue to sing our songs, to gather, and to do all of those things, and he was that. He was a young warrior. And he'll never be able to experience that or to fulfill what it was that he was here to do.
Court is now in session.
After the prayer circle was completed, Wiley's family and tribe members made their way into the courtroom. According to court documents, Jarreau choked Wiley to death and enlisted the help of his brother Jordan to dispose of the remains at a scrapyard near Isabella Lake in Shelton. Jarreau pleaded guilty to 1 count of second-degree murder, and Jordan pleaded guilty to 1 count of criminal assistance in the first degree and unlawful disposal of human remains. Before the judge delivered the sentence, he gave Wiley's family a chance to speak.
Because when I first wake up, I don't remember he's dead. Then as I begin to get grounded in my first moments of consciousness, I remember he's dead. To kill Derek. To kill my baby boy.
Foster says the sentencing brings some level of closure and a chance to move forward.
I feel like the judge heard us today. I feel like the system worked today. And while I understand the system doesn't always work, not just for our people or for people of color, but all people, right? Today, it worked.
Ms. Foster went on to say that she hopes that this experience will bring some level of change to Mason County when it comes to criminal justice. But she also said that this holiday season she plans on being present and showing up with love and laughter, because that's what Derek would do. But for now, we're live in Mason County. Lionel Donovan, King 5 News.
Investigators in Idaho say a car from Oregon they were following up on in relation to the Moscow murders has no connection to the crime whatsoever.
Moscow police say that that car in Eugene, Oregon is registered out of Colorado and is impounded there because it was in a completely separate crash. 4 students were found stabbed to death in a house near the University of Idaho campus more than 1 month ago now. One of those students, Ethan Chapin, was from Western Washington. So far, no suspect's been identified. Police have said that they are looking for a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, a car that was seen in the area at the time of the murders. Police say that they believe whoever was in that car may have critical information about the case.
We're not curing cancer or solving hunger, but we are reminding people that there's people out there that care about strangers.
It is the season of giving, and one Seattle woman is hoping she can give people a new sense of life after she created an organization that's dedicated to helping people complete unfinished projects left behind by loved ones.
King 5's Brady Wakayama shows us the impact that one woman is making, stitch by stitch.
It's snowing outside, and it's a cold place most days, but it makes this world a little warmer.
Warmth that is being spread one stitch at a time by Jen Simonic.
It takes 35,000 stitches to make us a pair of socks. So that's 35,000 actions you're doing with your hands to produce this item that hopefully will take care of somebody. It's kind of like magic.
Magic that continues to grow every week since she co-founded an organization with her friend back in September called Loose Ends. It focuses on connecting people through its website to complete unfinished projects left behind by loved ones who have passed and return them to their intended families and friends.
We're not curing cancer or solving hunger, but we are reminding people that there's people out there that care about strangers.
Loose Ends has hundreds of volunteers known as finishers, spanning throughout the country and across the world, making it a tight-knit community of people wanting to help fill that hole that someone left behind.
We have almost all the provinces in Canada. We've got people in the UK, we have people in the Netherlands, we have a finisher in Paris, we have a finisher in Qatar right now.
She says they're not making any money off of Loose Ends and don't have any intentions of having it be for profit. Simonik says the families just have to pay for shipping for the unfinished projects sent to the finishers. So far, Loose Ends has completed 10 projects, but hope more people will reach out to feel some of that love they may be missing.
Our main message is you look like someone loved you because they took the time to make something for you.
In Seattle, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
Keeping the doors open in Edmonds. Still ahead here on King 5, efforts to give those in need access to food despite this snowy weather.
Crews are still working to clear roads across western Washington. This here is new video from a crash in Sammamish. We'll have another check on your first alert forecast coming up when King 5 News returns in 2 minutes.
So the passes are proving dangerous to our east right now. Snoqualmie Pass is closed this hour in both directions. WSDOT says that crews are responding to multiple spinouts. Stevens Pass also closed from Scenic to the summit. No word on when the passes will reopen. Your first alert forecast is coming up in just 3 minutes. We still have just over a week to go with Home Team Harvest as we work toward our goal of 21 million meals. Just about halfway there, and we want to thank you for helping us help Washington's families in need. It's our state's largest food drive.
And every donation will go to Northwest Harvest, who distributes food to every county in Washington through a network of 400 food banks. King 5's Chris Cashman visited one of them today.
Yeah, hi there from Snohomish County. I navigated the curious conditions here to Edmonds. A beautiful blanket of snow, of course, but that complicates the commuting. And for many, it's not that last-minute holiday shopping that's top of mind. It is simply getting the essentials, putting food on the table. And nobody knows that better than the folks here at the Edmonds Food Bank.
A lot of people thought that COVID ended, so therefore food insecurity was somehow addressed. But in actuality, when we started into COVID, if you take the numbers from then, they went up by about 50–60%. We've tripled. So we're serving between 600 and 800 households every week right now. 150 of those households are senior households that we deliver to. So that's what you've seen all the craziness about, is us trying to figure out they're not going to do it in this weather.
This is Janice at the Edmonds Food Bank, and we're just trying to find out, are you going to be able to come in to pick up your order today?
You can see the volunteers, many of them walked. This is not our full volunteer crew. We have over 200 volunteers that volunteer here over the course of any month. But we can't close because, as you can see, the customers are still coming because they need food. This is where they're going to get it.
This goes on 52 weeks a year. And I mean, that's the thing where you kind of, wow.
We believe that if somebody can go to a grocery store, they should be able to come here and get their food. Northwest Harvest provides some of the best of our produce that we don't have to purchase, because it's super important, just like it is with Northwest Harvest, that all of our customers are receiving customer orders. So they tell us what they want. You can see over here, there's diapers, fresh dairy, fresh produce. What we say around here, and you'll hear it from any of our volunteers, is anyone that you know is just one major event away from needing food from a food bank.
Again, we are working to raise 21 million meals as part of our Home Team Harvest food drive, and you can still donate through the end of the year. We have raised 14.5 million meals so far, but we do still have some work to do.
You can visit king5.com/HomeTeamHarvest to donate, or you can text Home Team as one word to 41444. And again, much thanks for your generosity.
All right, want to get back to your first alert forecast now with meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. So, Leah, right now the biggest problem currently is up in the mountains.
Yeah, that's where the active snow is still following. Most of us in the lowlands have dried out. We're not expecting any more accumulations into tonight. Maybe some flurries, but nothing major. But the focus is on the passes as we head into this evening as far as our new accumulations are concerned. As we have continuously reminded you, the passes are closed as of tonight. So Stevens Pass closed. If you have any travel to do, yeah, it's not going to be tonight. You're going to want to wait until at least tomorrow. I think you'll see a little bit more clearing into tomorrow. So it is a first alert weather day. This is expiring tonight, though. We are talking about the potential for black ice, the refreezing of this moisture into our overnight hours. So we could still see hazardous driving conditions. Even as no new snow is falling, it could still potentially be dangerous on the roadways out there. So definitely something to consider. Loop of shoreline, though, we can see there's some snow. We were watching sledders earlier. It looks like some people have driven through there, but it's gorgeous out there. Some snow totals so far. It's been impressive depending on where you were. Blaine winds with 15 inches picked up. Bellingham, about a foot of snow. Oak Harbor, Mount Vernon, about half a foot. Seattle, depending on where you were, you could have seen anywhere from about an inch to maybe 2.5 inches in Seattle. So we do still have this winter storm warning in place. This is until 4 a.m. tomorrow. This is for the Olympics and the Cascades, so it is going to continue to be messy out there. Our road crews are going to have a lot of work into tonight because we have that snow that has already fallen, and we could still pick up another few inches into our overnight hours. This is the loop of the last 12 hours, and we can see really how quickly this storm moved on through, and we see it was a mix of rain and snow. Rain favoring the southern parts of western Washington, snow favoring the northern parts. Those highest snow totals are up towards our northern counties. We can see right now from our satellite and radar, though, we have pretty much calmed down. We could see a couple more inches of snow for the mountains, but for the most part, we are in the clear. Now we shift our focus to what's next. We have another storm heading our way. A winter storm watch has been issued for the southern parts of our coastal communities. This is for Thursday morning through Friday morning. That's going to be when we see the impacts of this next storm. So like I said, tonight, maybe a few more flurries falling, but shouldn't be any too much more of our total accumulations. Tomorrow will calm down. Then as we progress into Thursday evening, that next system arrives, and it does look to bring widespread impacts by Friday morning. This is going to be a rain and a snow mix. Cold temperatures, though. Right now, most of us are below freezing. We're in the 20s, and as we cool down into tonight, we could see single digits, especially up to the north. So it is going to be another cold night, another cold day. Tomorrow, we look to stay below freezing, and we're not done with these below freezing temperatures. They're going to stick around through about Thursday. It's not until Friday that we warm up, and then into the weekend, it's going to be so much different. We're going to be back in the 40s. It will be much warmer, and it will be much wetter. We're talking rain into the holiday weekend.
Tyler Lockett had surgery to repair a broken bone in his hand, and he may not miss as much action as expected. Pete Carroll said today there's a chance Lockett may only miss one game and be back to face the Jets on New Year's Day. Other injury news, defensive tackle Brian Monet has officially been put on injured reserve. The 6'3", 340-pound defensive tackle suffered an ACL injury in the 49ers game. Receiver Laquan Treadwell will take his spot on the 53-man roster. When the Seahawks take the field Saturday at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, temperatures are expected to hover around 12 degrees with a wind chill near zero. Will Dissly talked today about the coldest temperatures he ever played in. He had to go all the way back to junior high in Bozeman, Montana.
Coldest game that I played in, I think it was -8. Montana, 8th grade crosstown rivalry. I played fullback, and the fact that parents sat in the stands and watched 30 fullback dives in -8 degrees is amazing. It's just the most amount of support you could ever ask for.
Congratulations to Michael Penix Jr. He's one of 3 guys named College Football Comeback Player of the Year. Penix shares it with Minnesota running back Mohamed Ibrahim and UCLA linebacker Laiatu Latu. The Huskies quarterback led the nation in passing yards, throwing for over 4,300 yards. Penix helped guide the Dogs to a 10-win season. While the Huskies are preparing for the Alamo Bowl, there's an underlying vibe already building for next season. When Penix said he was coming back, Zion Tupuola-Fatu said that decision started a domino effect. A lot of the key players this season are returning, knowing the potential ahead.
I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited that it's happening because UW is really the only option I've really ever considered since coming to college. Like with the portal and everything, you know, NIL, like, you know, people will talk about all the options you have out there, but it's like I put my feet down in Seattle, I put my roots down in Seattle, and so I was not really ever ready to pick up and leave.
Women's hoops, the Huskies play a matinee against Southern Illinois Edwardsville. Delia Daniels leads Washington with 15 points. All but one of the Huskies scores in this one. Hannah Steins lays in a lefty. Next time down, Lauren Schwartz with an identical layup. She scores 11. Schwartz with a nice pass to Shayla Gilmer. Huskies pull away to win it, 71-40. Sounders' regular season schedule has been released. They'll play 34 games starting February 26th. They get Colorado in the season opener at home. The Huskies, or the Sounders, will face the defending champs LAFC at Lumen Field March 18th. Seattle has 6 Cascadia Cup matches. They go to Portland in March and host the Timbers in June and September. Seattle has to hit the road twice against Vancouver. The only home game against the Whitecaps is October 7th. The Sounders season runs through October 21st. On Decision Day, they will play on the road against St. Louis. Today, friends, family, coaches, and players said goodbye to Mike Leach at a memorial at Mississippi State. Leach passed away 8 days ago from a heart condition at the age of 61. Leach left an indelible mark on the game of football, from the air raid offense to his pirate sensibility or his odd yet funny press conferences. Gardner Minshew played only one season for Coach Leach, but he definitely left a mark on the mustache.
Every day at Washington State in cargo shorts and like some green Asics shoes. So like for me, wearing jorts and a mustache wasn't a big deal. You know, it was pretty easy. It was only 6 months that I could have with Coach Leach, but he really changed my life, man. Changed how I saw myself, changed what I thought was possible for myself. And man, I really just couldn't be more grateful. And yeah, thank you, Coach.
Just a minute to weigh on NBC Nightly News. A newly elected Republican whose resume is raising questions. Did the politician make up part of his past? And a one-on-one with the billionaire who says he has a solution to high drug prices. That and more coming up for you in about 30 minutes.
NBC Nightly News is coming up next. Thanks for watching tonight. We hope you'll stick around for King 5 News at 6:30 and 7. We'll see you then.